What is the first 4th of July that you can remember?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Well, the first main one, I know when I was real little, I was never allowed to be around any kind of fireworks when I was real little on the farms and stuff. But the first big 4th of July that I remember, I was in the 2nd grade living in Mapes. And my dad bought me a little cap gun. It wasn't a big Western one, but it was just a little like a Dick Tracy cap gun. And of course, my brother, who was Jack, who was 3 years older than I was, he had a bunch of firecrackers. And we had, of course, he was doing things with those that he probably shouldn't have. But it was, I remember it, I was 8. And for some reason, later that day, we went to visit some neighbors down the road quite a ways. They had 17 kids. Anyhow, they got the older kids, Jack was right involved, and they were shooting firecrackers out. And then they went into the shed and got some cans of oil or gasoline or something. And this one said, "We're going to blow the world up." And I mean, I was really upset. I remember really I didn't want that, you know. Well, the more they seen that I was scared, the more they loaded it up. And Jack usually protected me, but he didn't this time. So they took the stuff and we went out in this field. I said, "No, don't do it, don't do it." And so they put firecrackers in a can and blew the can up, and that was the world right there. But that was a traumatic thing of that first 4th of July for me.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
The first 4th of July I really remember was in Sabetha. And they had, during the day, they had the downtown, everybody was out downtown, and they had hula hoop contest, and they had guys running down the street and chasing after a greased pig. The hula hoop contest, there was a whole bunch of us girls out there, and a lot of time went by, and there was 2 of us. We still kept hula hooping, and everybody else had quit. And finally, they just called and said, "Okay, you're both winners." And we got to split a banana split, and went over to the drugstore. We shared a banana split, and that was the highlight of my day. And my brother and his friends chased that greased pig down the street. Somebody caught it finally. And they did things like that for the grown-ups too, which we didn't pay any attention to, but I think they had square dancing or something.
That was in Sabetha?
That was in Sabetha, and then that night we had the fireworks out, and I don't remember where it was, but it was kind of out in the country somewhere, and they had the fireworks, so it was a big fun day, and doesn't quite traumatic as you're blowing up the whole world story was, but.
Oh boy, but you didn't get anxiety attacks from it either.
Now, our son loved 4th of July. He loved all the fireworks, and we lived on this one house in town, and we were out in the back shooting fireworks off in the alley. And we had our lawn chairs sitting there, and I was sitting on a lawn chair, and he and Bob and John were shooting these rockets up in the air. And one of them, I had just got up to walk over here to check on my girls or something, and that rocket turned around, came down and landed right in the middle of my chair. And so that was, praise the Lord, for sure, right there. But later on, we went out to Fort Worth with the family to fireworks. We always went with my mom and the girls and my brother and
Yeah.
the whole family would go out.
Well,
to
that
Fort
was a
Worth.
big deal.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was right by the lake, and they would shoot the fireworks off, and they would write things up in the sky. You know, the military, they do such a fantastic job. So we did that every year. We up there, even went up there and visited a few times, and we drove out there. We got some cool pictures.
Ever since 911, they don't do it anymore.
No, they don't.
It's hard to even get on the post anymore.
Yeah, you can't just drive out to the post anymore. When I was a teenager, we would go out there and we'd go to Bratz Club, it was called, because they called children of officers brats. And so the club was called the Bratz Club. And it's kind of like Teen Town, it was smaller. And they had a couple of specials that went on out there that those town kids went out there. As long as you're with some brats, you can go out there.
But I remember 4th of July after we moved to Texas, that we'd go to the parking lot of the mall, and they would, back then the city would do the fireworks show over there,
Yeah.
and then of course they stopped doing that. And
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We'd go in Dick's truck, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
In
his
our truck, we'd take both of them.
I remember sitting in
Sit
the
out-
back
yeah.
there watching.
We'd all
them.
sit in back of one truck.
Yeah.